And we're rolling. Hi, I'm Ron. It's my lunch break. All the vehicles here. I kind of look like Wreck-It Ralph, but an upgrade. I got my new overalls on. Fancy. Like no holes in the new ones, and they don't stand up by themselves because they've been soaked in dirt and salt and all kinds of stuff. Like they're clean. I like it. So, what I'm here to talk to you about today is I had been thinking everybody's going through problems, so that's a given. But my question is, what's coming out? What's coming out of you? And I hear this fella who I met in passing a little bit, Todd White. I like him. And Dan Mohler. Never met him yet. Wouldn't mind. They go, you squeeze an orange, you get orange juice. And if you squeeze it and you get anything else out of it, that'd be kind of weird. So when and what I mean by squeezing people, you have problems, you have trials, fiery trials, corona, financial issues, whatever. What's going to come out of you? Not that you weren't allowed, or we aren't allowed to be concerned or have emotions, but at what point do you rely on God? And when you do rely on God, what's coming out of you? Is it fear without faith? Is it fear and faith? Or is it just faith? I'm not sure. I don't want to come down on anybody if you fall into any one of these categories. My job is to lift you up, to help you through it. Because when you live, my dad always says, it's a one-way ticket. Nobody gets out of here alive. We all pass away. Now that's the hard truth unless God comes back. And if you happen to see him when he comes back, that's fine. But until he's coming back on the clouds, there might be the chance that we're out of here at any given moment because nobody's promised tomorrow. And if we're not out of here soon, that means these trials will pass. That this is, I believe it's Peter, don't be surprised by the fiery trial that's come upon you. Because we are being tested. I'm not saying God's putting this test on us, but you are in life going to be tested, whether it's a cross like Jesus or just being a witness like Antipas, I believe it was. Antipas was a faithful witness. He was a martyr on behalf of Jesus. Or if you're just living your life out in peace, what is coming out of you in the time of duress? And if you don't do it perfectly, it's not to say you've failed. It's more so, okay, there's something to work on. We all have stuff to work on. But Jesus says, be perfect as he is perfect. And if we can't be perfect, then why bother saying it? So that means by his Spirit, we can be perfect. And there's some people say, well, we're all sinners and we're all going to sin. And, that's just the way it is. I'm like, no, Jesus never said that. It's not in the word that, yes, we've all sinned. And sin may occur, but in Hebrews, it goes, if we sin, we have an advocate in heaven. Not when. I'll have to check myself on this, but basically, I'm saying you don't have to fail. You don't have to give in to sin. You don't have to give in to fear and doubt. You don't have to give in to the things of this world. And that when you get squeezed by this world, people are going to see, hear, and feel Jesus, that you will be that ambassador of Christ, that you will be that beacon of light. You will be that beacon of hope. You will have a hope that is real in your heart and in your life, and that you will you will have an answer for everybody. We're allowed that's because it's Jesus within us that gives us this ability. And if you don't have it yet, allow him to develop in you so that you feel this hope, this peace that passes all understanding, the love that's shed abroad in your heart, so that, I think it's Paul, and I'm paraphrasing it, whether whether you're abounding, you're fine, or whether you're abase, you're fine. Whether you're rich, you're fine. Whether you're poor, you're fine. Whether you live, you're okay. Whether you die, you're okay. To live is good, and I don't want to say be rich is good, but having enough to get by and be happy, there's nothing wrong with that. And God will get you there. God, if you've lost everything, I'm sorry. But do not give up, because God does prune. He does prune us. He does change. He does cut things out of our life. And I'm not saying that you became poor just so that God's improving you. But what Satan has used to hinder you, God will use to improve you, so that when you do get your riches back, your wealth, you'll appreciate it, and you'll know who gave it to you, and you'll know it's transitory, but you'll also appreciate what you got. And so you don't, know that if you've lost everything, you can get it back. It's not just, I've seen healings, a lot of them. And if you can do the impossible physically, why not? And spiritually, and what I mean physically by, I've seen physical healings. Why can't he restore wealth? And I'm not to say God is just a button we push so we get money out of a spiritual ATM, but we are his kids, and we're allowed to ask for, give us this day our daily bread, and lead us not into temptation. Forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin and trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Our daily bread, it's, that's a blessing. That's to have in some way wealth, or at least, a reasonable life. So don't give up, don't give in, and know that if there's a crucifixion, there's also a resurrection. If there's a loss, it's going to be momentary, and eventually there will be a gain. So, with that, there's, live we win, die we win. Just know that you win, and it could be on this side of eternity, not just on the other side. That you're allowed to ask for good things, and hope and believe for them, and walk in the joy of the Lord, because what will disappoint Satan and honor God is you get squeezed by this world, you get a tragedy going on, and someone hears faith, hope, and love, and you become a beacon to the kingdom of heaven and a billboard for the goodness of God. So, with that, let the love of God come into your heart and give you peace, and let his face shine upon you, give you fullness of days. So, with that, peace, ciao, shalom, arigato, das verdanya, and goodbye. Go wash your hands.